up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superboy. Hello everybody, Nightwolf here, and welcome to another DC Rebirth review. This time we will be looking at issues 1 through 6 of the first story arc of SuperMan. The writer is Peter J. Tomasi, and artist is Patrick Gleason. I have to say that I really love the art in this series. It's fantastic to me. It reminds me so much of iconic Superman. Superman that everybody knows and everybody loves. Whether it's images of him taking off his coat or jacket and showing off that S symbol, or him standing next to the American flag somewhere, either on the moon or somewhere else. This is iconic Superman art. This is the type of art I would expect to see in a Superman book, at least for a good majority of the time. It's so awesome to see that type of art again, because it makes it feel like it's the Superman that everybody knows and loves, and that's saying an awful lot, considering that for a while I don't really think that Superman in DC Comics has really been very much like Superman. It's been more edgy and weird, and this stuff feels good. It feels right. I'm pretty sure that Professor Geek down at the Iconicast is very appreciative of this art. I know I am. Hi, buddy. I haven't talked to you for a while. I hope you're doing well. Also, the art in the book really does a great job with action and adventure elements in the story. And it kind of shows really great fight scenes between Superman and the villain of the story, which we will get to in a minute. There's just so much energy in this art. The color, the action, I just love this art. I don't know why I love it as much as I do, but I do. It's not just for its iconic qualities, it's for the color, it's for the symbolism that's in the page itself. There's so much of it to enjoy, and if you've never read a Superman comic book like me, it's a new experience, to say the least. Now we'll discuss the story elements that are in the first story arc, which are fantastic, I have to say. A lot of the stories, especially the first few issues, focus a lot on how Jonathan, Superman's son, looks at his father as the hero that everybody knows and loves. And it helps not only to relate to Superman, but also relate to kind of like how I think most people look at Superman, as kind of like this father figure of someone who's upright, who you can look up to, who you can trust. And it's a really great thing to see that being put into story elements and making it so that the reader feels very relatable to Superman himself. Because some people have a problem relating to Superman. I know I'm no exception. I used to think the same things that a lot of other people thought, that Superman can't be relatable because he has too many powers. He's not leveled or down to earth. But this story really does help with a lot of those elements. The story also focuses a lot on the elements of Superboy himself, of Jonathan, and him trying to deal with his own powers and his own abilities, not having full control over them like his father, and how nervous he gets around the fact that he doesn't understand how to use his abilities properly, which is like, hey, like most superhero stories, especially about young kids getting powers, this kind of reminds me of like Spider-Man not really fully knowing his abilities and powers when he starts out. But Spider-Man never had a mentor, whereas in this book, Jonathan has a mentor figure, someone to guide him through this tough time that he has, and it's a really great thing to see. The one thing that I was actually relatively surprised about for the first villain of the first story arc was seeing the Eradicator again. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. That supervillain from the 90s that a lot of people probably don't really care for or like. Well, actually, I'm not really sure he was a villain then, or if he's a villain, full villain. It's kind of like a mixture between the two. But I'm really happy to see him back. I hope to see more of these classic Superman villains coming into the book. It also talks a lot about the souls of Krypton and how the Eradicator absorbed all the dead souls of Krypton and put them into his own body. And through this entire book, especially when the Eradicator becomes a prevalent threat in the story, he talks about how he's there to purify Superman's son and help him to eliminate the unnatural elements, which would be Jonathan's humanity, from him. And the story really goes into a lot about the whole thing of like Superman being Kryptonian, you're not human. And to be honest, it's a really interesting story to see, and to see Superman not only fight back and say, no, I am human, I'm more human than I've ever been Kryptonian, is a really awesome thing to see. I love the story for it. You also get to see Lois fight for her son as well, which was awesome. I'm not going to spoil how she fights, or too much, because you should just see the book for yourself and see it all unfold. For me, this is a fantastic book. This is coming from someone who's never really been a huge Superman fan, who's never read a lot of Superman comic books before, and I never thought in my wildest dreams that this book would probably be my favorite book out of DC Rebirth. I never thought that. I was going to test it out. I was going to test the water, see how I felt about it. And then I find out I love this book so much. This is like almost exactly what I wanted from Marvel for so many years, from Spider-Man, to have a family to follow of a character that I like a lot. And now I have it in the format of Superman, and it's like a shock to my system. I'm like mind blown by the fact that I love this book so much. Now I know that there's, of course, the current Spider-Man Renew Your Vows book that's out. I don't know if I'm going to get that. We'll see. That's neither here nor there. But this is kind of me just being kind of real talk right now. I cannot recommend this book of Superman enough. It's been fantastic through the first 6 issues. I just recently picked up issue 7. I have no intention of dropping this book anytime soon. I love it that much. And like I said, this is coming from someone who's never really been a huge Superman fan, so that's saying a lot. So, my final grade for Superman issues 1 through 6, The Son of Superman, it gets an A+. Just flat out A+. It's fantastic. I love it so much. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed our little review of the DC Rebirth Superman comic. I will be back for other stories that are coming out soon once I have them in my hands and I get to read them. So please feel free to also recommend to me other books that you want me to look into, so that I know what you guys like to see in these reviews. But don't worry, more DC Rebirth books will be reviewed relatively soon. I also hope that you guys are all safe and have a lovely day. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Share this video if you enjoyed this review. And as always, do not forget to raise your nerd flags high, and I will see you next time. Nightwolf's out.